In 2015, the State of Black America study by the National Urban League has shown a crisis in the black community. We have begun to change the way, and not enough, towards the American ideals back in the 50s. But if you count the last 50 years, we've made very little progress in economic, social justice, and overall equality. So, the goal of this presentation is to state that the African American community must begin to use their power to lift each other out of the crisis that we are in. We have waited far too long for government help, and we deserve financial freedom. The best way to change the masses is through collective entrepreneurship. The African American community of entrepreneurs must rebuild the foundation of entrepreneurial pursuits in the United States. That is going to happen when we can rebalance the wealth, education, and media presence in America. This has caused our community to fall in state of depression. I'll bring light to the situation to say there is hope. Moreover, I will let you know how entrepreneurship brings hope for the African American community. Well, the first thing is that we need to understand the interpersonal things that are required to develop the entrepreneur. We must first develop our faith. How can we hope for those things to happen with our community when we cannot see through the perilous events happening?
The school administration does not want the social studies teachers to teach African American history. We are on the campus of HBCU. We need to know our culture. The school is 90% African American.
So far, we've not reached any of the teachers, nor has the principal responded to our messages.
And they were all escorted out by police officers because they were trying to teach us things about our African heritage.
So when people start to believe, however, they can change and they can actually do something about their circumstance. Now, there are people who believe that God doesn't help you in this way. According to Faith and Entrepreneurship article, this would be called the poor man's gospel.
When they were able to get
However,
jobs, black workers had
work hard for wealth is from the Bible, something I did not make up myself. So if the African American community can look at our roles and we begin to progress like a T.D. Jakes, a Ray Lewis, a Eric Thomas, we can begin to develop the characteristics of faith. We begin to learn what it takes to attain wealth. Moreover, these people aren't our idols. We know there's only one true God. Additionally, in America, a big problem in the African American community is shown by Pew Research. Wealth in America shows that in 2007, before the stock market crash, we see that all households have a wealth of $135,000 approximately. White households have $192,000, and black households have $19,000. I believe that this is a big discrepancy, and if you look at the trends, it continues to just get worse off for African American households. This is a problem. In the United States, there are students living or below level of poverty, thus leading to dropout rates. Now, some may say despite efforts to provide students with basic essentials, all the lawmakers and teachers and administrators have done what they can. However, there is simply not enough to go around. Well, according to the Pew Research, we have a big distribution in white wealth versus black wealth. So how can they make this claim?
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, Today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
The hope is there's an opportunity for wealth, and that thoroughly involves being financially educated. It requires one to be open to the ideas of not working hard for money, but to let money work hard for you. Through reading books such as Robert Kiyosaki's 21st Century Businessman and Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. These are the things that African Americans must begin to focus on so we can invest our monies where they need to go. Again, there's this guy named Earl who made $12 an hour as a parking attendant, yet accumulated over $500,000 in wealth.
How did he do it? Stop working so hard and let the money work for you.
According to the 5 issues that will decide if the era of No Child Left Behind is really over, the number of federally mandated standardized tests almost tripled over the past 10 years. Harder to measure, however, it is intense stress felt by students, teachers from an accountability system based strictly on test scores. Every student should have access to curriculum that fosters creativity and critical thinking. Some key skills that can't be developed through rote memorization and using a number 2 pencil. The No Child Left Behind has corrupted what it means to teach and what it means to learn. The argument behind No Child Left Behind is that different standards cause teachers to have different attitudes towards teaching. However, having at least some regulation will force them to take their jobs more seriously. So, standardized tests are essential. There needs to be some standard area that all students should know.
Most people now accept that No Child Left Behind is a failure.
We need to give these kids time to develop, time to learn, time to be problem solvers, time to be thinkers. That's what's going to make us a can-do nation again.
The black community can create more opportunity for their schools, better jobs, health, and spiritual living. We know America is a great nation because of the support we get from small businesses. The future is thus created in the minds of these children who have the passion and ideas to create a better society. The CBC, Why Black Entrepreneurship Matters, says that to create effective change, we need to improve areas of access to capital, better business partnerships, and providing important technical solutions. This was once realized before on Black Wall Street. This was a place where other successful black men, entrepreneurs, doctors, and lawyers, and women could be together and others could see the success. This must be reinvented in the 21st century. How so? Well, arts learning can improve motivation, concentration, and confidence, according to a report by the RAND Corporation. We need to get students involved in an experience to sweeten the individual's life through art. Through art, you're able to connect to people to a deeper world and open them to new ways of seeing, creating the foundation to forge social bonds and community cohesion. According to Dr. Dowell, the director of the Office of Multicultural Affairs here at Syracuse University, art is an extension of the self. Art is an appreciation of nature. Entrepreneurship is possible when people who have art can collaborate with schools. These people can act in philanthropic roles as to help students who don't have instruments, as to students who don't have paintbrushes, and they want to create and imagine themselves in a new light. That's the power of art. Consequently, there's also a multifaceted problem in the media. This includes the way that we manage our time, the stereotypes that we are perpetuating, and the community being looked at in a very malice and difficult way. The common role of role models in the media, such as rap stars and hip-hop and basketball players, shows life has limited choices. However, this is not the case. There are black college professors, doctors, and lawyers. Many important black lives, right? Such as historical international things perpetrate in the African American community, but we must spread light on them. Now, the opposition ensues that it is our fault while we are looked at a certain way in the media. Let's take a look.
And thrift, and the focus needs to be on the black community to rectify that. Blaming corporate America is not going to fix that problem. The achievement gap in schools is not because, black kids watch twice as much television as white kids. It's because standardized tests are biased.
Right.
Black men are filling our prisons not because of black behavior, but because the criminal justice system is racist.
This is not helping people. This is going on national television and saying it's black people's fault, and don't worry, we got a black guy to say.
This is what we must do now.
A great go and talk to the producers, to the decision makers in these media outlets, and have the conversation about what do black men and boys really look like in the media and how that compares to documented reality.
Another clear and compelling hypothesis about distorted media presentations concerning the lack of black input is production of content, and there's a dearth of representation. The African American TV station ownership rate is lower beyond 3% among all TV networks. Underrepresented share of producers, journalists, and experts is something that must be corrected through entrepreneurship.
Black nationalism, which means that the black man should control the politics of his own community and control the politicians who are in his own community. My personal economic philosophy is also black nationalism, which means that the black man should have a hand in controlling the economy of the so-called Negro community. He should be developing the type of knowledge that will enable him to own and operate the businesses and thereby be able to create employment for his own people, for his own kind.
Dr. Dow mentioned we must give these students scholarships so that they may be able to fight these disparities that are in these fields, so these children can grow. Thus, as entrepreneurs, we must not only seek to do the right thing and to make a profit, we must also become philanthropists. We, as a nation, must empower people. When it comes to the ethical issues, are that you have to deal with family interrelated problems, your managing of time, and also dealing with how your business goes throughout. Say if it is a startup, you don't have every law and everything established, so you don't look too closely to whether decisions sometimes are right or wrong. When it comes to family, you're often working 40, 60 hours a week, and this can be a huge deficit to relationships if you have children or if you're married. So one must consider how this will play out in their life. Another big thing is with faith. Some believe that it is akin to God, that He'll be able to give you the things necessary to be an entrepreneur. And that in itself is a personal choice, a personal opinion. And so one must be careful when saying that God wants me to do this path. Additionally, in the media, if we're trying to have more ownership, we must consider if we're going to put on programs that are going to educate or instill value or going to devalue us. That is very important in the rise of entrepreneurship. So we have seen how investing in the black community, we can create business and we build ourselves a better future. Growth must take place intrinsically and extrinsically for our society to recover. We must begin to write a new story of what we have to offer. Taking advantage of our situations involves us to be down in the grassroots of entrepreneurship and to demand that this society change its outlook on African Americans. We must be persistent and demanding about making these changes. Respect must be given to us on these corporations, media, websites, on these corporations, media outlets. We are to be portrayed as having families, having jobs, being engineers, and being business owners. Another key thing is the realm of education. We have the ability to grow. We have a lot of opportunity, and entrepreneurship can reinforce that we are creative. And through art, we can reinforce the mindset that a child should have when he is growing up and be a whole person. Finally, the wealth is a big factor in the African American community's forward progress. We as entrepreneurs must be philanthropic, being able to give back, being able to provide so that we can have more control of well-being.
Yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.